Now we're gonna go check out Reliq, and I'm so excited what they're going to show us. Let's go. Do you want to just introduce yourself really quickly?
Sure, I'm Kyriakos from Reliq, and this is our first product. It's still in alpha stage, and I will be happy to show you what's the concept behind.
Amazing, yeah, so I'll have some few questions about it, but do you want to give just like an overview, an introduction to it?
Sure, of course. So this is alpha version. We call it the hybrid control surface. It comes together with this breakout module that can be either in its own case or connected to any Eurorack power supply and Eurorack case. The first 16, we have 16 ins and 16 outs here at the beginning, and we can connect any kind of audio signal or CV signal, line level, Eurorack level, it doesn't matter. Then on the first page of Reliq here, we have a matrix mixer where I can, for example, connect the Morgasmatron to the reverb or the Morgasmatron to the delay, so on and so forth. But I can also change the routing, so how the cables are connected in the Eurorack in real time, without listening any audible clicks.
Yeah.
And this gives us the possibility on the sequencer page, on the last track, to have a matrix sequencer. This works like a normal sequencer, but instead of having a pitch and velocity per event, we can have a different routing, so a different connection of audio. So this is routing 0, this is routing 9, and so forth, so on and so forth. So now that I open the filter, you can listen like the signal from chords going to reverbs, delays, and other. At the same time, we have 32 control voltages, 16 gates, 3 MIDI out, 1 MIDI in, 1 USB MIDI, and 1 USB host. All of the USB connections are USB-C.
Yes.
And here we have 16 tracks of advanced sequencer. Each track can be Euclidean, polyrhythms, polymeters, step sequencer, so on and so forth. The track can be assigned to any control voltage out, gate, or MIDI, or USB. So here we have the landing page of the track, but we can also zoom in. So when I zoom in, I enter into piano roll mode, where I can enter a note. And for now, I can change the beats with an encoder, but our plan for the next weeks is to transform the whole grid into piano roll. So the first row will be C0, D1, so on and so forth.
Okay. And I have a quick question about this. If I wanted to do a chord, how do I add another note and like stack them?
That is a great question. So our plan is to have several voices per track, an 8-voice polyphony. At the moment, that's not fully implemented, and we want to achieve that by having the grid as a piano roll. So if you enter like this 5 buttons here, you have like a quarter of a C0, and then if you do this, you also have a quarter of D.
Is there any plans to have like a chromatic, or you could change, like, let's say the notes that are on, maybe you can have them all in a certain key or chords or stuff like that?
Yeah, we're working on both chord quantizers and scale quantizers. So it will be possible to quantize or fold your pitch to anything, but the same goes for velocity. So you will be able to draw your velocity over time, duration, probability, trigger, micro time, CC number, and CC value. We're also working on clips, so you can store this as a pattern, and then you can have follow-up actions, so play this for 4 bars, then move to the other one, and the note mode where you can perform. The first 127 buttons are going to be pitch, either in chord mode, scale mode, and the next 127 are going to be macros, velocity, aftertouch, mode wheel, whatever you might like.
Is there the possibility to have it split? So let's say the grid goes like this, and then it continues on a split level. Do you know what I mean? Like instead of having your sequence like this, you almost like have a longer sequence. So it's like instead of maybe this is like 4/4, you can have like 8. So it goes like this, and then it continues down here.
At the moment, we haven't investigated this, but we're working with a fold function. So how does this work? If you see right now I'm on track 12 here, and this goes on 32 divisions. On the grid. So if I press the zoom button here, I fold out and I see the full bar on 16. But I can also scroll with this encoder, but this encoder is also a joystick. So if I click it on the right, I go to the next page. If I click it on the left, I go to the previous page.
Wow.
We also have an LFO and an enveloper track. The plan for this is that you will be able to draw your own wavelet. At the moment, we have loaded 100 waveforms here in which you can morph. In between its waveform. Same goes for envelopes. Both LFO and envelopes can be outputted in audible rate up to 25 Hz through control voltage, or they can be used to control MIDI CC or maybe through USB. We're also having a DAW integration.
Oh, wow.
How does this work is that it's a simple USB-C connection. It synchronizes with your DAW. At the moment, we're running Ableton Live. This is an early version of it. but we are able to get the colors of the clips, the name of the tracks, and also interfaces. And the LEDs are monochrome at the moment, but we're going to tune this to have the same color code as on the screen.
Yep.
You can trigger loops, record arm solo, and when you play press and stop, everything is stopping and playing at the same time, being absolutely synchronized. So the main concept behind all this is that regardless of what kind of equipment you're using, digital synthesizers, drum machines, sequencers, Eurorack or computers, you have a centralized surface which you can control everything with the same way and on the same workflow.
Yeah. And my other question is that is there going to be a like computer program interface that can connect to this for maybe increased customizations? I don't know.
Okay, so that's a very good question. Actually, we're working on an audio unit and the VST plugin that you can plug in any DAW as a host. This will have bidirectional control between Reliq and the DAW, recalling settings, naming things, dropping presets. But we're also working on an iOS app. So this is Wi-Fi enabled.
Yeah.
And you can have like an iPad or an iPhone. And you can control it remotely, but our main purpose for this is to make navigation and preset a bit easier, so for naming tracks or for saving something and even sharing it with other people.
Wow, awesome. I guess my only last question is, what's the timeline of it? I know it's in alpha right now. Of course, it's still you're still testing it out and still working out things. Do you guys have like a timeline for it?
Well, we don't want to give any false promises at the moment, and things are changing rapidly regarding manufacturing and logistics. We have a timeline at the moment, but we want to share and start actual pre-orders when we have an actual shipping date from the factory.
Okay.
So, yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, no, I think that's really awesome. I'll definitely stay tuned, and thank you very much for showing me around. This is an amazing product. It's also something that is like almost a gap in the market. There's something that isn't there that you guys are filling in and doing something really unique. So I think it's awesome, and can't wait to see what you guys do with it.
Thank you very much for this.
Awesome.
Have a great show.
Cheers.